I was saying about my husband was like, it taught me, I'm not able to speak on his behalf, but it taught me like, okay, you can be, when you meet someone who is kind of from a different environment from you, different background, different ways of life, different parental upbringing, different views on a lot of different things, you know, but then having similarities as far as the freeness of our spirit, the freeness of wanting to know and experience different things, the point of wanting to have love, but having been through harsh situations where we've been heartbroken and where we recognize that heartbrokenness caused damages that we were looking and seeking a person to fix. And a person outside of yourself can't fix your own inner wounds, your own damages. You have to face your own pain. Back to observing, accepting, and forgiving. You have to be able to take those steps, because once you observe something that seems like it's repeating itself, whether it be with the same person that you've loved or whether it be with somebody else, if you're with somebody and y'all been together since high school, but y'all going through the same arguments, the same repetitive stuff, somebody got to wake up and be like, okay, I'm sick of arguing about this every year, every day, or every month, every week, whatever it is. You got to get to a point where you like, can we talk? Like, what's up? What's wrong? Like, is there anything you want to share with me? But then that's when I have to reflect back on empathy and narcissism, simply because when you recognize that you're in a relationship with someone who is a narcissist, whether you know if you are an empath or a narcissist or not, the reason I say the self journey is necessary is because you don't want to go around judging other people. You know, that's why I apologize in the very beginning of this 3-part video, is because I want people to know that I went through a mental conflict this year trying to understand how to be a good wife, how to be a good stepmother. You know, I wanted to get to know the mother of the child that I was being a stepmother to. And because there was a perception of him by the man I was married, of her by the man I was married to, I didn't never really have no relationship with her, you know, really honestly. And then I don't know her at all, but I knew I was getting to know that baby, and I was falling in love with her at the same time I was falling in love with him. And so at the same time, I started to have to ignore the fact that, you know, there was a barrier. But I don't like to judge people before getting to know them myself. So I never had a true belief in her being crazy or being this messed up person or whatever, because I'm like, I don't know her. I can't judge somebody I don't know. So I just ignored the whole thing. And you know, he told me she didn't want to meet me, so I was like, oh, okay, well, you know, I let bygones be bygones. And you know, she didn't want to talk to me and everything. When 2019 came, all of a sudden, you know, so it is what it is. And then 2019, I just went through, all hell broke loose, you know, tarot readers stopping me, telling me I was cursed, and a woman in my husband's family was putting roots on me. And you know, so I started accusing my own mother, my mother-in-law, my grandmother, anybody that had a baby, anybody that had children, I was blaming. Then I said, maybe they ain't a mother. Maybe it's just a regular woman. Started blaming anybody, friends, you know, my line sisters, my profiles, anybody who was a woman. In my head, I'm like, oh, they all hate me. And I'm just like, everybody hate me. Why? You know, that was that narcissistic piece of me creating itself for no reason, because I was accusing people for nothing. That's why I apologize, because I was just like, you know, everybody goes through stuff. Nobody's perfect. And I took the risk of taking this journey not knowing that I was involuntarily signing up for a spiritual awakening, for an ascension, for something that was going to raise my vibrations to the point where I looked at this world from a whole nother element of my mind and was able to see so many lies of the world, not just this whole tarot thing, but just of the world and of society and the cycles and the wheel and the ancestral patterns and the generational curses and the triggers. And I looked at all of this stuff, and then I had to stop and think like, hold up, I'm blaming everything outside of myself. So I had to really self-judge. And you know, this whole year I was still on that. I was fighting for my self journeys, because I wanted to build this platform, because it's not just for me. I wanted to be a community that, you know, shares stories, because we're all humans, and I believe in, like I said before, only one God being the creator, one Yahweh, one Jehovah, one universe, one higher power, one higher being. And he created us to be creators, to find our purpose, to create a wholeness about ourselves, so that we are able to elevate to our highest potential. It's okay to have a 9 to 5. It's okay to build your resume and have all these establishments and all these things, but at some point it's like, not everybody is okay with wanting to just work that job without having a pension or having retirement. Some people want to know that they have security, but there's other people who want to establish jobs for other people, who want to establish businesses, non-profitable organizations, who are entrepreneurs. And that's why I consider myself an entrepreneur, because I'm like, I want to develop something that is not just for me. I want to see people that don't have jobs, and I want to be able to provide that for people. Not even for the money factor. I'll give my last, and I've done that on several occasions. I was about to be robbed by he tried to take my car, but I was like, boy, I'm driving a bucket. No gun's gonna put fear in my heart, because like I said, I watched my father pull out a gun on my mother. It's not nothing to me to see a weapon, and then being in the military, we deal with weaponry, and I don't know if I was crazy or what, but I was looking at him like, so you want to steal this car that's gonna break down on you at the light, bruh? You really got the wrong one. So I was just like, well, you can have it, but and then I just really started asking, like, can I help you in any way? And then I'm just like, stuff like that just kind of gives you an idea of like an empath, a person who just really would put their life on the line, risk, their own existence, not out of fear, but out of empathy, out of like, oh, he's homeless. Oh, he doesn't have anything. That's why he robs people. Oh, he's from home. His mother kicked him out. And I was just asking him all these questions because I'm like, we all out here struggling. Everybody needs something, and I said, I'm just in school because they paying for me to have somewhere to stay with this dorm, I got a little scholarship or whatever, it's like so much that I worked for because there was something that I wanted in the long run in my life. But some people's childhood wounds are so bad that they are not even able to think past it. Not even just childhood wounds, but like experiences with love and relationships and friendships. Even people have been stabbed in the back, business opportunities where they've lost money, like thousands of dollars. Some people and on higher levels lost millions because of bad deals, bad decisions, bad blood, bad friendships, fake people around them. Not everybody is a good person, and not everybody wants to be a good person. But if you are a good person, if you consider yourself a good person, you can't look at yourself and be like, well, everybody's good, and just forget about the fact that you have to be able to learn how to be sensitive for yourself first. You got to take care of yourself first. You have to love yourself first, and then allow yourself to love others second. Because if you know how to have boundaries, they'll come from you being whole and knowing yourself enough, as well as observing the world first and observing people in your life, and then saying, okay, this person is this way. Not saying you're judging them. It's called discernment. There's a difference between judging somebody and discerning who they are, and a difference between, like I said, sympathy and empathy, sharing, someone's pain and understanding someone's pain. So it's simply like not a tit for tat thing, not like, oh, I was hurt too when I was this age. Oh, I did that too. A Me Too person is typically someone who's carrying a lot of narcissistic traits, because it's like, you tell them a story and then they're like, oh yeah, me too, girl, because this happened to me and da-da-da-da. And it's like, and then next thing you know, because you're friends with that person, you end up doing the same thing with your friends too. And then you end up just always just, oh yeah, girl, me too. I definitely, when you went through that, I was going through that same year. And it just like, they didn't understand. They didn't listen to you to understand. They listened to you to respond. That's what a lot of narcissists do. And like I said, I can speak on this because I know for a fact, I had the traits of narcissist and an empath. So when it comes to the empath, I'm still trying to unravel how to deal with this and how to undo the negative factor. I don't never think I'm going to be perfect, but because like I said before, in prior times, I want to be a certain kind of mother. I want my children to, I just a certain thing that I want to do with my children. And I don't necessarily got to share that because everybody has their own way that they want to be a parent. But I have my own way that I want to be a parent. And when I become one, it's going to be a job for me. Like it's going to be a true never clocking out type of job, no matter what, because I want my children to have the best, like every parent does or should want their children to have, especially in this world. And it takes a lot to take the time to get to know yourself so that you can be secure in yourself in preparation for that. Another thing about empaths is that they have the ability to sense others' emotions and actually sometimes feel their emotions. So when I was in the DMV, because now I'm in Georgia, it was like when I was there, I started to feel not just the emotions of the environment I was in, but the emotions of the people that was around me, the people I loved, the new people I met, the people that were attached to the people that I knew and loved and met, and the people in the environment. And it just was like almost like a dark cloud over that area. And I had to recognize how deeply rooted the separation of the places in that little area is. And it goes back to the Native Americans putting roots in the White House. It's like knowing historical facts is necessary when you're trying to unravel things about yourself and really delving into the depth of not just your own ancestry, but of ancestry in general. A lot of us in this country don't really know our roots. And it's unfortunate, but it's not the end of the world. And I just chose to want to know about it, to want to know for the sake of my own journey. But some people, you can just tap into your own intuitions and reach your higher vibrations and higher consciousness enough to be able to decide, okay, I want to have this type of journey, and this is what I want to get out of this journey. That pre-planning, and then, after preparation, develop your plan for your self-journeys. And the reason I say self-journeys is because life has more than one journey. And I feel like with decades coming and we're going into a new dimension, and like I said, I learned about religions and alchemy, astrology, all these other things. And like I said, with the witchcraft thing, I'm a person about unity. That's why I asked for apology, because I'm like, look, I can't judge a person who practices those things. Do what you want. I just felt some kind of way because I felt like somebody was trying to do that to me, especially after it was told to me more than once. So when I realized that my best defense mechanism was to become heavily strong and full covered, armored in my own belief system, so that I could protect myself against anyone who doesn't want to use and practice their own religion for good things, because not everyone uses their religion for good things. Some people just literally will pray against you. And energy is a real thing that God created. We are energetic beings. We are spiritual beings living an earthly experience. So that's what I feel personally. And I do believe that energy can be exchanged. And a lot of people who don't have the best intent in their heart for others, but have more intent for themselves, tend to want to exchange that negative, bad energy of themselves when they see someone who has good energy, so that they can be able to transfer their bullcrap onto someone else and receive something bad that is more better. And they won't give anything because they are a person who lives for themselves. That's their sensitive level. So like I said, for narcissistic people, I just would personally recommend that, if you actually want to change, then you take the time to know more than just about yourself, the good things, but recognize those flaws, those faults, those things you do wrong to harm others, and actually ask God to release you from, being that way if you really don't want to be that way. And if you are that way and you want to stay that way, more kudos to you. For empaths, take care of yourself. Watch your circles, watch your surroundings, watch who you give your energy to, watch what you put your time into. And the first thing you need to do is focus on yourself and your inner healing and learning how to become whole in yourself, so that you can learn how to protect yourself, understand your belief system, and understand your own life. Everybody should try to find a way to get out the matrix and to focus on their own growth and their own healing, because everybody deserves happiness, peace, inner peace. Inner peace. That's why I call it happy inwards. #happy inwards, because you really should have a happy inwards before you try to do anything in this world, period. Whether you're a narcissist, empath, sociopath, whoever you are, take care of yourself. And that's the facts. And another thing empaths have is like an extreme emotions in certain environments, and they need a lot of time alone. You feel drained in large crowds, and you go out of your way to help people typically. So take the time to just make sure that you recognize your own traits and what you do in life, and try to focus on inner healing, your peace, your love. But it starts with like that observing, that accepting, and that forgiving. And self-forgiveness was something that I had to do. Out of everything I did, that was probably the best thing and the thing that freed me the most. And after breaking these chains, I just want to tell y'all that everyone can do this, and it's all love.